Hello and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today we'd like to share with you more of the information I've received from the 25th dimension during my last BQH hypnosis session. The session was done on February 15th, so by the time you see it, it's probably going to be around May or June, for the simple reason that I do a lot of sessions, so they start getting backed up. But I am looking forward to sharing this information with you. And I'm excited about this particular session because they do say things that are incredible in my view, and also because I have a few dreams interpretations to share with you, and I know that you guys do enjoy those. It's just a very direct way through dream interpretation. It's a very direct way to get information and also not only get it in an intellectual way, but also get it in a way where you know what feelings are transpiring, and not only you have the ability to be in different characters at the same time or to move from one to the other. It's just fun. I do enjoy remembering my dreams, and I especially enjoy when the 25th goes into depth to explain what they really represent. So I know that many of you do as well. All right, very good. So I'm going to jump in here. Basically, this is the beginning of the session, and as always, Lorrayne, who's my practitioner, is finishing up her induction, where she gets me all relaxed and it's all nice, and then I'm focused. And then she always asks, we've gotten in the habit of always asking for initial messages. And so Lorrayne asks, is there anything you would like to say to us prior to getting to the dreams? And this is the 25th answer. Yes, thank you. We would like to make a couple of comments, say a couple of things. We are showing Clea one particular dream, this one scene from a particular dream that she's actually going to be asking about in today's session. We'll go more into depth, but we're showing her this particular scene where she is in this town and she sees the last, or the second to last, we should call it, or the last button on the wall that needs to be pressed in order to finish the game. And then after that button, there's going to be the button that lets you out. And we're showing her this because we are that close. She's already located it. The button represents a recall, the last project that we set for ourselves, and she's about to reach for it. So we are very, very close. We want to translate to you how extremely excited you are. Right now, we all are about what is happening. The fact that we are getting this done and we are getting this completed. And it is astounding what we have done here in a short number of months. It is truly beyond astounding. It is something that is impossible to wrap our minds around as humans. But you're going to have to trust us on this. And they're laughing because they never asked us to trust them. They always say, go inside, connect, and you'll know exactly what's going on, because they are our higher self at the end of the day. We all have access to this information. If you connect with your higher self, you will know exactly what we're referring to. In fact, for many of you, this excitement is percolating. Clea has been what she describes as inexplicably excited for several days now. Much of this excitement has also come across in her dreams for the last couple of months, and it's just becoming even more incisive, even more evident to her that we're nearing completion, that something exciting is about to happen, and now it's transpiring. It's basically transferring over to 3D reality. Just a couple of days ago, she was saying, I am so happy. I don't know why. It is this excitement that we're referring to. So we hope that more and more of you will feel this in your daily lives, because this will obviously help you go through the last few motions here. Now, we never want to make you believe or try to tell you that you must still change your mind and decide to do one more project after this, or 3 more projects after this. I mean, having me surprised the first time, we don't want to say to you, oh, this is what you're going to do. However, we do want to tell you that right now, right this minute, we can confirm that you do not have any more projects that you're thinking of doing at this time. And that's why you are so excited, because you're so focused on this project. You feel like it's nearing completion and you're very eager to leave. So right now, where we stand is that you're planning on leaving. And that's why we are showing this image from this dream to Clea, because again, she in the dream knew that after she pressed this button, she would only have to find the one that basically allowed her out of this village, which represented the game. One other comment we want to make, because Clea has been focusing on this, basically it's a realization that she's had at a conscious level in the past 3 days, because she has removed a lot of the denseness, a lot of the veil. She has integrated a lot of stuff already. which we don't mean to say that she's integrated everything or that she's not going to have to do work on New Earth, but she has been going through the integration of the things that have come up for her, just like everybody else is doing. We're all coming up, quote unquote, against certain realities. There are triggers for us personally, for us individually. And we use the word individually to clarify our thought. Obviously, there is no individuality. Individuality is an illusion. But for us personally, there are certain things that trigger us. And what is a trigger? We don't mean trigger in terms of how you in the language speak of triggers, meaning something that causes necessarily negative emotion or makes you act crazy or whatever that might be. When we say trigger, we've used this word before. We mean it as a tool. It's a tool, a situation that the higher self sets up in the quote unquote outside reality. And the outside reality might be physical, might also be an emotion, okay? But it's always your higher self setting it up. And you, from a 3D perspective, see it as coming out of nowhere. So that's what we mean by it seems like it's coming from the outside. We already know nothing comes from the outside. There is no outside. But for the purpose of using words here that explain what we're trying to say, we'll say, so we set up these triggers in the outside reality so that we individually can become aware of whatever our higher self wants to make us aware of. And so in this case, Clea has been clearing through some stuff, the same way as other people are clearing through other things. And we're all working together. As Clea keeps saying, we are all working together. We're all leveraging each other's work and integration because we are all one. So we know exactly what everybody's doing. And so Clea, because she's clear through these things, she's not very much focused because the time is nearing, at least for as far as we know right now, the time is nearing for us to leave, and we are intent on leaving. For the first time in the last 3 days, she's allowed herself to actually go through the motions of what this entails. And it's not about the mourning for the planet and those kinds of emotions. It is very simply the integration of what is going to happen in the moment they would realize. It's going to be shocking to us in the moment they would realize, wow, this is happening. Even though we talked about it at the higher self level, we obviously know that we're making this happen. It's still going to be shocking. It's going to be startling from a 3D perspective. All of a sudden, we're going to be like, whoa, there's going to be a moment. It's going to feel like a moment, really, but we're going to have a lot of emotions come up where we find ourselves basically in what we consider to be space. So again, we're describing this from a 3D perspective because this is what Clea is dealing with. All of a sudden, she realized and she felt what this was going to look like, which is we're going to, all of a sudden, we're in the middle of eating, we're in the middle of laying on the couch, we're in the middle of driving somebody to the airport or whatever the case might be. We might be in the middle of sleeping, but we're in different parts of the world. Not everybody's going to be sleeping. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves sucked into space. And we're going to turn around, and we're describing the 12,000 here because most of the people that are left are going to New Earth, and they're just going to be finding themselves on New Earth, which is going to be just as startling because you're going to have this feeling of shock, even though it's a good thing. You have been wanting this. It's all going to be shocking. All of a sudden, you'll be like, oh, wow, so this is real. And I'm in a new place. Oh my gosh, what happened? So this is going to create anxiety, even though it's going to be short-lived. But it's the same feeling that you would have with something that happens that is unexpected. And we don't mean necessarily a bad thing, like, if you have an accident, all of a sudden there is an avalanche of chemicals that start acting in your body and your brain reacts a certain way, et cetera, et cetera. So we don't mean to say in a negative way, but there's still going to be a lot of swirling emotions and thoughts that happen in your mind as this happens. And Clea started finally dealing with that and integrating this because she wants to prepare herself. It's almost like training. And so we are going to look, we are going to see, we are going to dissolve. I mean, we're going to see the planet dissolve, but we're going to dissolve it. And then we're going to have to gather ourselves because we're going to have all these emotions that are still human. And we're going to transfer ourselves to New Earth because, again, it's instantaneous. It's not like we are traveling to New Earth or flying through space or anything of the kind. And then we're going to be on New Earth. We're going to be looking at each other and we're going to be looking at ourselves because we're so different. Everything is going to be new. And it is going to be, and you know this, if you moved anywhere, even if you just moved houses, if you moved offices, whatever it is, The first time you went to school or to a new school or to a new place, it's going to be that sensation, but 1,000 times bigger, 10,000 times bigger, because now your body is going to be different. You're going to feel different. There's going to be basically an explosion of feelings. And again, we don't mean what you would think of as bad or negative feelings, like you're going to feel bad. We really are just saying you're going to be overwhelmed. It's going to be a lot to take, but also, you're going to be also elated. So there's going to be, again, the swirling of all kinds of emotions related to this. This is the reason why Clea is now allowing herself to actually go through the motions and realize and actually feel some of these feelings. She goes, oh my goodness, we're going to do that. And okay, I can handle this. Let me wrap my mind around it. This is what's going to happen. Of course, we can't fully prepare ourselves for what it's going to be. But the reason she's allowed herself to at least start preparing herself, almost like when you say, okay, I'm changing houses or I'm changing country and moving to a new country, this is what I need to prepare for it. I need to calm myself, or whatever you might decide that you have to do in preparation. She's allowing herself to do it now. And the reason she's allowing herself to do it now is because she's very much in the knowing now that we do want to leave after this. Again, never say never. We don't mean to say there is no future. We already said this to you many times. So we cannot tell you you will not change your mind, because it's really up to you. If you change your mind, then you change your mind. However, we do want to tell you that right now, this is why Clea is so excited, because she's realized that, yeah, she doesn't want to stay here longer. She's not going to come up with a new project. So unless something incredible happens after this, where you all decide, because it's not just Clea that gets to decide, she would never stay here by herself, that you all decide to stay, of course, there's still an option, but we can't even imagine right now what that would be after what we have done. Also because of the work we have done. Really, at this point, we are missing New Earth, in the sense that we are not able to do a whole lot more work here without going to New Earth, because we're kind of stumped in our growth, if you want to think of it that way. There's no real growth. But in the increasing acknowledgement of what's happened here, we are stumped because we have to stop. We cannot go beyond a certain point, otherwise we become very dire. So we did want to tell you what is going on right now in the background. And again, for some people, including Clea, this is a very conscious process that's taking place right now. And just as a reminder, again, the session was done on the 15th of February, and that's when I was feeling really happy for no reason. Nothing had changed in my 3D reality. I was just happy. And I started having some of these sensations, and I realized what they were related to. So I'm glad the 25th talked about it in the session. Lorrayne, thank you. It is an interesting time emotionally, and I have been experiencing these same kinds of things, disorientation with the realization of what is potentially, and I say that because my human 3D self needs to have a little grounding. I say potentially what we are going to experience. So looking forward to it. That's good news. But I'm now taking the stance that everything is a possibility, and I'm not going any further than that. Thank you for your wise words. Me. That's very wise. Again, we never want to tell you that something is going to happen, because really it is your decision. And so that's a very wise stance. And we are simply translating to you what's happening in the background. So if you find yourself being excited, it's most likely because you're going, well, it is. We are telling you it's because of what is happening. Everything that you have been able to achieve and what you believe it means to you right now in terms of, yeah, we're almost done here. So yes, absolutely. We agree and we appreciate your stance. And again, because the 25th never wants us to think that we cannot change our time. As you know, when they were telling us about the takedown, it was based on the logistics of what we had actual work we had been doing for 300 years. So they were telling us based on the piece of work, on the clip you've been working at, then you're going to be done. You expect to be done on this around this time. And but they've told us a million times there is no time. And then some of us, most of the takedown has already happened. The people are gone. But some of us decided to stay behind. And of course, for those of us that stayed behind, we're all confused. We're like, why are we still here? That does not take place. That does not happen. And then we have realized in time that, yes, I mean, it's hard to deny for many of us at this point that the NPCs around us, basically pretty much as an NPC. You're lucky if you have one or two people around you who still have an essence. There's very, very few of us left. At this point, it's only those of us that are going to New Earth. And so basically, we are just waiting for this recall to happen, and not because the recall is an outside event that is going to happen, but it's because we are learning this over time in this project that we're tackling, we are basically learning at a conscious level that we do create our reality, which will be a moot point when we go to New Earth. But the reason we are doing this now and why it is a huge deal in the multiverse is because people are watching. And when they watch us and they say, oh my goodness, you can have this type of consciousness on a 3D planet, in such a negative 3D planet, the most negative 3D planet we ever had in the multiverse, this is where the big deal lies. This is why we decided to do this. The 25th has said that this is the biggest deal, the biggest input of new information since Source inputted new energy into the matrix, in the matrix, which happened last April. So basically about a year ago now. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.